Hello everybody, this is Sean here at Scout Plays. Today we are back in Shapes 2 and I'm going to be showcasing one of my mega factories. This mega factory is specifically going to be oriented to the Milestone 8 shape and how I got that at the very end. Now, something to note, especially at the shape of my factory, is after I hit part of the steps, I actually went back and redid part of the factory just to streamline the process a little bit more, so I wasn't 100% following the steps. But what we've got going on right here on this shape specifically, so it is a 4-layer shape. You have a yellow circle on the bottom, and that's your first layer. On the second layer, there's a set of pins, and then a half red circle. Then your third layer is just pins right there. Your fourth layer is going to be a half squares of white, and whatever those are called, they're going to be yellow. I'm not sure what that part of the shape is called right there. Break that down to its infinite quadrants so you can actually see what each quadrant looks like going down. And that is what we are going for the end. So I did build this factory and then went back and redid it just so I could have a more streamlined process than what I was originally going for. Because the steps I thought were a tad bit funny when I was doing that. Because it had you doing a half yellow circle, then a half yellow with the earth shape. I think it had the pin on there too. Yeah, it had 2 pins on there is what it was doing. And I went back and I kind of just redid this into halves and restructured it like that. But this is the shape we're going for right here. So, let's go into that right now. First, I'll show it to you guys on map view. I think this is one of my cleaner looking factories I've ever produced by quite a bit. This is how nice it looks in general. But this is the entire Milestone 8 factory. I'll just go ahead and start up on the top right what I have going on up here. These right here are my white color mixers. The factory I was going for has a total of 72 full belts of production at the final output, so there's 6 of all these down. These are my color mixers that are doing white. I've got red coming in from the bottom left, and I've got blue coming in from the bottom right, and I have green coming in from the left after these 2 colors are mixed into purple. They then turn around and mix into their white colors respectively. There it goes. I was wondering why that one was a moon for a second. And this happens, of course, 6 times in a row. Yeah, you did a lot of that. You needed that red. So I do have that red right there. That's just straight up being extracted from the right here and brought off a train. We'll get that down a little bit. Up here, I have all the half squares that we're shooting for, and also the weird, or this might have just been the weird shapes. Nope, I got both. So this one worked perfect, because I had everything I needed on this 1-4 quadrant go right here. I had my yellows, and I had my white half squares. Both of which are going their own direction. We'll go ahead and follow the squares first. So the squares, they come down into here. These are my painters. Go for a 12 full belt output at the end. So I've got all my white paint coming in on the bottom left. All of my half squares coming in on the right side. And they're meeting up and getting painted right there before they go to their next output. Now up here, this is the pin pushers. This is what gives them their extra layer. So that way they're up 1 more layer. Because right now they're first layer shape, now they are second layer shape with the pins. If you hold them real close, you can actually somewhat see the pins. And that's how that little line of production right there is going. And of course, that's happening 6 times before it goes off to a train for the next step of where it goes. Which is very nice to see. Let's go back up here now. Now up here, we got whatever these shapes are called. They are heading straight down this direction. Down here, I've got my next set going on. I've got my reds and greens coming down for just a 1 set color mixer, which is just producing my yellows. I got the green coming in on the left side and the reds coming in on the right side, and they are mixing to make my yellow paint before they head off for a 12 pipe production line, which is happening 6 times. They are moving straight up into an array of painters. All these painters have to do, paint those shapes nice and yellow, and then send them off. Now, next part we get to is I have to get those up on pin pushers. Now, they're on pin pushers times 2, so it actually goes through the machine twice. But if you look real close, you can actually see that they are now a third layer shape, because you can see both pins below. The first and second layer being pins, and the third layer being the yellow shape on top. So now we'll move on to the next line of production. We got the squares coming down this direction. We got the yellow shapes right there coming down this direction. They're all gonna meet down this direction. So we'll start over here. We got the circles. I just straight up did a flat out circle, brought down. Hey, or those are my half circles actually, those are being painted red. Now once they're red, we got the white squares coming in from this direction. They're so cool to look at. And they are being put on my 12 belt stackers. My right side is my bottom layer, and my left side is my top layer going on top. So that way I always know which input and output I'm using for connections right here. So I've got my 24 inputs coming in for my 12 belts of output. So then I have my white half squares on top of my red half circles. Before these are sent off to their next line of production. And of course this is happening 6 times in a row. And they're being sent up this direction. I had to get a little bit inventive with this one to make everything fit. Because over here is where we once again have a color mixer producing the yellow going over here to paint the circles. And that's our first layer right there. Very nice looking. Then we've got our red half circles and our white half squares coming in. They're getting straight up into another stacker right here, another stacking array of 6 going in. So right here we now have the first layer of yellow circles going down, and they're getting stacked with the red half circles and the white half squares along with the pin that the white squares are already on top of, giving us this shape right here. And they are getting sent down to the next and final step of production, is where they are meeting up with the yellow little shapes, I don't know what to call them, which have already been put on pins, and then they are being stacked on top of the first layer circle, and they have been oriented in the right direction to where when the final shape comes out, we have what we were looking for. And that's how you get the final shape right there. I did streamline it so I didn't have to go through as many steps when I initially did the initial steps, so that way everything was just pushed down to a single production line for the most part. So instead of doing the circle twice and then doing the little shape right there, it's pushed up twice, I only had to do all of the steps one time. And this factory is pretty big overall. Let me highlight it real quick. So the factory here, when highlighted, it consists of a total of 6,992 platforms, 9,489 platform units, 149,000 buildings, taking up a 257 by 265 dimensions. And those are all the individual different unit types that go into play here creating this factory. And that is my Milestone 8 Mega Factory, 72 full belts of production coming off for final output. If you want to see how I built the individual arrays for stacking, painting, mixing, pin pushers, rotators, or cutters, just let me know. And I will upload an individual array tutorial on how I built that. I do have a future video upcoming for something even bigger, which is my Milestone 9 Mega Factory. And I hope you liked this video. You all have a great day.